Welcome to our channel. The world economy is facing a major trade war once again. President Donald Trump has imposed a 10% tariff on Chinese imports and a 25% tariff on goods from Canada and Mexico, causing economic instability. In response, China hit back with a massive 75% tariff on U.S. products, disrupting industries, driving up car prices, and shaking global supply chains. This battle is reshaping markets worldwide. But what are the biggest consequences? Let's break down the 7 most shocking impacts of this escalating trade war. Before we start, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment. Let's dive in. Number 7, industry in the crosshairs. The automobile sector is one of the biggest victims of the ongoing trade war. Starting February 1st, 2025, a 25% tariff on imports from Canada and Mexico threatens to disrupt North America's deeply connected supply chain. Major car manufacturers like GM, Ford, and Stellantis depend on smooth cross-border trade, with vehicle parts crossing borders multiple times during production. With over $110 billion in trade at risk, these tariffs will increase manufacturing costs, forcing automakers to either raise car prices, shift production, or take financial losses. Dealerships may struggle with slower sales, and the ripple effects could weaken consumer spending in other industries. How the auto sector adapts to these challenges will shape its future in a changing trade landscape. Number 6, China strikes back. China is leveraging its control over rare earth metals by restricting exports to the U.S., putting pressure on key industries. These critical elements power electric vehicles, smartphones, and defense systems, making them essential for modern technology. With China supplying nearly 60% of the world's rare earth metals, the U.S. faces a serious challenge. Finding new sources is not only expensive, but also time-consuming, potentially delaying production and driving up costs. American tech and defense companies are now rushing to secure materials, explore recycling options, and invest in alternative technologies. This shift could slow innovation and force industries to rethink global supply chains, leaving many sectors in a vulnerable position. Number 5, the EV battlefield, U.S. versus China. The U.S.-China trade war has turned the electric vehicle market into a fierce battleground. With a 100% tariff on Chinese EVs, the U.S. aims to protect domestic manufacturers like Tesla and Rivian. However, China's massive subsidies keep its EVs highly competitive worldwide. While these tariffs are meant to boost U.S. production, they could backfire. Higher costs may slow EV adoption, and American automakers that depend on Chinese-made batteries will face rising production expenses. Supply chain issues could delay new models, hold back infrastructure investments, and stifle innovation. This standoff exposes the complexities of global trade, raising an important question: will protectionist policies strengthen the industry or create bigger obstacles? Number 4, chip shortage 2.0. If the 2022 chip shortage shook the auto industry, the next wave could be even worse. The U.S. is set to raise tariffs on Chinese semiconductors from 20.5% to 50% by 2025, aiming to boost domestic production. However, China is pushing back, considering restrictions on key materials needed for chip manufacturing. Semiconductors are the brain of modern vehicles, controlling everything from infotainment systems to advanced driver assistance. A supply crunch could lead to slower production, delayed new models, and stunted innovation. While the U.S. is investing in local production through the CHIPS Act, building factories takes time. Until then, automakers will struggle with supply chain bottlenecks and rising costs, which could eventually hit consumers with higher car prices. Number 3, fueling uncertainty. The energy sector caught in the trade war crossfire. The ongoing trade war is sending shockwaves through the U.S. energy industry, as China cuts back on American oil imports, shutting off a vital market. With demand dropping, the U.S. faces a risk of oversupply, leading to lower prices and shrinking profits for oil producers. At the same time, China is strengthening energy partnerships with Russia and the Middle East, shifting global power dynamics and weakening U.S. influence in key trade networks. This shift could reshape global markets and challenge America's energy strategy. While the U.S. aims for energy independence through increased fossil fuel production, the growing push for renewable energy adds another layer of complexity. Striking the right balance between domestic oil output and shifting global demand will be crucial to maintaining economic stability and global competitiveness. Number 2, healthcare in the crosshairs. Medical industry feels the squeeze. Key U.S. medical sector is an unexpected casualty of the escalating trade war. Facing a 50% tariff on Chinese medical supplies like syringes, needles, and PPE. While the goal is to boost domestic production and reduce dependence on China, the immediate impact includes rising healthcare costs and potential shortages of critical supplies. The COVID-19 pandemic highlighted the dangers of supply chain disruptions in medical essentials. Now, high tariffs could leave the U.S. vulnerable in future health crises as hospitals struggle to secure vital equipment. Increased costs will likely be passed down to healthcare providers and consumers, further straining an already burdened system. Although efforts are underway to expand U.S. manufacturing, building a robust supply chain takes time. Until then, the medical industry must navigate rising costs and logistical hurdles, all while ensuring patient care remains unaffected. Number 1, a global shift, the trade war's domino effect. The U.S.-China trade war is setting off a chain reaction, disrupting international trade, supply chains, and economic partnerships as tariffs continue to rise. Nations worldwide are rethinking their trade policies, aiming to reduce dependence on China. The European Union has slapped tariffs as high as 45.3% on Chinese electric vehicles, aligning with U.S. efforts to protect domestic industries. Meanwhile, Japan and Taiwan are reinforcing their local industries to cut reliance on Chinese imports. This wave of protectionism is reshaping global trade strategies, forcing countries to look inward or form new economic alliances. However, this shift comes at a steep cost: higher prices, inefficiencies, and increased global instability. As industries and consumers struggle with rising costs and supply shortages, the big question remains: will this new trade landscape lead to long-term economic strength, or will it create even more uncertainty and disruption? A turning point or prolonged turmoil? As U.S.-China tensions heat up, industries across the globe are facing an uncertain future, with soaring car prices, supply chain disruptions, and a volatile EV market. The big question is, can diplomacy put an end to this economic standoff? Or are we heading toward long-term instability? In today's interconnected world, the actions of one country can send shockwaves across industries. Will businesses adapt and innovate to survive, or will rising tariffs push industries deeper into crisis? Could this trade war fuel economic growth through self-reliance, or will it cripple global markets? What do you think? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. Thanks for watching. See you next time.